this weekly review. Once again, we are very thankful for all of you to join us. And we are very thankful that we have this opportunity to be able to listen to the Jing Wondrous Lotus review. And as all of you know that recently there has been, the weather has changed greatly here in Taiwan. From last week, it was actually beginning to feel like it was getting hot. And then all of a sudden, the temperature dropped a few degrees, and all of a sudden it started to rain, and it becomes quite chilly. So it seems that Master might have been under some kind of weather or uncomfort. So a couple of days ago, there was a small, not major, a minor incident where on entering the main hall, Master sort of stumbled, and but you know, it was eventually she was able to hold on to the side, and that really gave us all a scare, and that let us know how precious everything is. And so when we're doing the review, it is our hope that we're not just doing this for Master only, but we are truly trying to do our best to talk to each other, to learn together, and to share our experiences. So I am very grateful that I have this opportunity to share with you, and I'm also very grateful that I have the opportunity to hear all of your sharings, whether it's from last week, you know, it was from Australia, from Perth, or from weeks ago, it was whether it's from Singapore or Malaysia, and today we're going to hear more about Burma. I think it's something that we should all cherish very much, which is how we are connected to each other, and how it is that in the Dharma that we are connected. Okay, so we're going to begin. So last week, we're always going to talk about what happened last week. And last week, we talked about chapter 19. And chapter 19, it was about, and this we're still talking about chapter 19. It's just that we're reviewing. And last week, we talked about chapter 19. It has always been about the merits of being the teacher of the Dharma. And more specifically, it talks about the benefits of, it talks about the benefits, the merits. If you are the teacher of the Dharma, what kind of benefits that you would have? Now, this is not talking about the dental benefits or the medical benefits. It's talking about the benefits, the merits that you will receive if you are the teacher of the Dharma. So last week we said that the benefits include that you're going to have the eyesight, the hearing, and the nose to be able to smell all the different worlds. I think last week we didn't talk about nose yet, because the nose didn't begin until I think Sunday. But the idea is that there are many merits, and how what we can do to obtain these merits and why. So we talked about it last week. And also we talked about the sands of Ganges River. And the story goes that the Buddha compared the sands in the fingernails to the sands of the Ganges River. And the idea was to say that the sands in the fingernails represent the Dharma that was already taught. The sands in the Ganges River represent the Dharma that has yet to be taught. And so there's a huge comparison, disparity, in that there are already there are so many things that need to be talked about, but not yet. There was just not enough time. So that was what we talked about last week. And so the idea was last week, we said that it is true that I think Master and also Buddha knew that it cannot be completely spoken and taught. But so the idea was that whatever that was in the fingernail, whatever that was the very small amount that was actually spoken, it must be extra important. It must be very much to the point. It must already be the most essential part of the Dharma itself. And therefore, if we look at what was actually said, we could actually see that it's already very essential. And it's so essential that sometimes it might be too difficult to understand. So for Buddha, the Buddha also made sure that not only was it the most essential, but it was not too difficult to understand. And it was important, it was understandable. So that was something that we talked about last week. So not only that, but it was something that we can grow on. We can not just have the stance in the fingernail, but it was actually expand from the stance in the fingernail to the stance in Ganges River. So that's what we talked about. You know, this is exactly what Master has helped us. The stance in the fingernail is something that is simple to understand. It is essential, and it can be multiplied and replicated to represent all. So therefore, we should not worry too much, and we should understand it well to be the teacher of Dharma. So that's what we talked about last week. And so last week, that's what we talked about. So we're going to now begin this week's review. And if you remember, so the beginning of this chapter, we talked about all the merits of the 6 faculties, right? The eyes, the ear, the nose, the tongue, the body, and the mind. These faculties that we talk about. Out of all these 6 faculties, the merits of being the teacher of the Dharma means that the 6 faculties will be purified and will be able to expand it. They would have expanded functionalities to be able to do more, okay? So these are the verses from the sutra, okay? I'm just gonna go through them very quickly. These are directly taken from the sutra itself, okay? So the first is talking about the eyes. So through the natural bodily eyes given by their parents, which are thus purified, now they will see, you know, the mountains, forests, rivers, oceans, both within and beyond the great manifold cosmos. So out and within this world and beyond this world, and all the way from the lowest hell up to as far as the highest summit or the highest level of the heavens. So you can see all these things, and they will also see all the sentient beings, perceive and know the causes and consequences of their deeds and of their states of birth through the eyes that we have. Okay, so that's the merit of the teacher of the Dharma. Even though they have normal, natural bodily eyes, but they're able to see all these things. That's just talking about the eyes. The next thing we're going to see are the ears. Through their pure ears, also bodily, natural bodily ears, they will hear within and beyond the great manifold cosmos, down as far as the lowest hell and up as high as the summit of the universe. Not only that, they can hear the sounds of all the animals, of all the trees and plants, of all life forms, and they can distinguish all these various sounds, and yet their faculty of hearing remains unharmed. And what that means about unharmed is they are not affected adversely, they are not affected negatively by these sounds. It's not like you hear all these sounds and all of a sudden you feel sad, you feel bad, you feel awkward. No, it's not. In fact, you're able to hear and you're able to distinguish, and that was the key, okay? So the sutra talks about the functions of the eyes and the functions of the ears. Now, this week, Master goes into the next part, which is talking about the nose, hearing. So once again, it goes back to the same structure. If one were to uphold the sutra, recite, explain, or copy, they will perfect the 800 qualities of the nose, which is sense of smell. With this pure faculty of the nose, they will smell all kinds of fragrances, both within and beyond the great manifold cosmos. So once again, you can see, you can hear, and you can smell. As long as if you were able to uphold, recite, explain, copy, and not only that, that you are able to practice the sutra, as well as being the teacher of the Dharma, then you would be able to see, hear, and smell all kinds of voices, sights, and fragrances within and beyond the world. This is what the sutra tells us. Last week we talked about how that's possible. and why. But this week, we're going to talk about the nose. So the thing is about the nose is that we can very clearly see how the eyes and ears have these extended merits. How the eyes can see very far, the ears can hear from very far. But nose is something that I think might be difficult. The reason being that if you go on to, the reason being that Master wants us to be connected to the world. Master wants us to be able to see and know the things that are happening around the world. To know that we are very fortunate. To know that we are connected as one. Okay. So through our TV, through our technology, we are able to see things that are happening very far away. We are able to hear from things that are happening very far away. These are all possible. However, can we smell these things from very far away? So this is what Master said on the 3rd, which is last week, last Sunday. So after our last week's review, when we talk about the sense of sight and hearing, Master began to talk about the sense of smell. So this is what Master said on the 3rd. The nose has the sense of smell. It also has the function of breathing in and breathing out. In between the breaths, it can also smell fragrance, and that's it. So on the 3rd, on the Sunday, first encountered the sense of smell. It was something that was very underwhelming. Can it only be like this? In the Chinese, it actually said, other than this, it has no other functions. So in between breathing in and breathing out, which is very essential to be alive, it can also smell the fragrance. Breathe in, breathe out, and smell the fragrance. And that's it. So I was thinking, can it really be this useless? So at the time, and thank you, later on, 3 sisters are going to share the stories from Burma. But I began to wonder. I was thinking about Burma at the time that I heard this. And I began to wonder, yes, I have seen our activities in Burma. Okay, ever since 2008, the largest cyclone hit Burma, I've seen and I've heard the stories from afar. I've seen what's happening there. I've heard the stories and all the inspirations that are happening from Burma. All these stories, wonderful, touching stories there. I was thinking about Burma at the time, and I was listening to Master talking about the sense of smell. And I began to wonder just exactly how does Burma smell like, okay? So this is the question that begs answering. Why? Because we see the extended powers of the eyes. Remember, we go through that in the beginning. The eyes can see from here to all the within our world and beyond our cosmos. The eyes can see the forest, the mountain, the river, and all the living beings from all these worlds. The ear can hear the sounds of this world and beyond this world. And it can hear from the lowest hell to the highest summit. I can get that because we have what's called the ITV, we have all these technology. I understand that. But how do we smell Burma? Okay, how do we smell Burma? Maybe this is a question that Sister Cheng can answer for us. How do we smell Burma, right? I can't. All these volunteers coming back from Burma, they bring back videos, they bring back pictures, they bring back sounds so that Master understands. Master didn't need to leave Hualien. Master would stay in her seat and she would know what's happening in Burma. But she would not be able to smell Burma, right? It's not like somebody, okay? It's not like somebody who goes and take a plastic bag and capture air in Burma and then bring it back to Taiwan and then poof, right in front of Master and say, Master, now do you smell Burma now? No. The sense of smell cannot travel like the sense of sight or the sense of hearing. So when I was hearing Master talking about the merits of nose, And it was only doing breathing in and breathing out and smelling the fragrance. I think there's more to it. I think there's more. It's not just in and out to keep our life because of breathing. And it's not just within the breathing in and out, you can smell something, but there has to be something more. So this is what I think, okay? So that's the function of the nose. Our sense of smell, it's not like eyesight or hearing. Eyesight, on a clear day, you can see for hundreds of meters away. You can see from very far. And this is just our normal eyes, okay? And then with technology, you have telescope. You can see very far. And you have microscope. You can see very small. And then with even more technology, you have video camera. You have camera. You can capture images and video from different time, and they can bring it to other places. That's the function of the eyes. It can go so far, and that we can understand. Same thing with hearing. You're able to hear from all around you, and all these are, there are surround sound and all these things, all the technologies to support the sense of hearing. But what about nose? There isn't an invention that says, I'm going to be able to bring the smell from United States to here right now. You cannot just go to Zoom and turn on the function, unmute, I want to see the video, and I also want to smell you. There is no such function, okay? So what's the function of the nose? And that's the key. Remember the function of all these merits, the merits of all these senses. In order for us to smell this place. Remember the merits? You can smell from the lowest hell to the highest summit. You can smell all these sentient beings, and you can smell all these worlds. In order for us to smell all these worlds, you must be there on your own. You must travel there. You must personally walk the land, go into the people, and smell them. It's not something where you can tell me how they smell and I would know. It's like Sister Xiaoqing comes back from Burma and she says to everybody, it smells like number 1, or it smells like number 10. I wouldn't know what number 10 means. It might be your scale of 1 through 10, but I wouldn't know what number 10 means, okay? Because I don't know, because I didn't smell it before. It's like if you come back to the Jing and if you participate in the morning lecture, and you go like, wow, the air was so special. It has a very smell, fragrance to it. For someone who has never been here in the morning lecture, you telling them that, it's almost as if telling them nothing because they still don't know how it smells, okay? So the function of the nose is because it has to be so close. You can only smell from around you. So in order to smell all these things, you must be there on your own. And that's exactly what Bodhisattva path is all about. You need to be there. You need to walk into the masses. You need to be part of the happenings. You cannot stay from afar to be able to know the smell, but rather you need to be there. You need to be walking there. Yes, you will be touched. When sisters share with us about Burma, we're going to be very touched and we're going to be very joyous. But the joy and the moving will be nothing compared to how they actually feel because they were there. And that's the function of the nose. Okay? So to be able to differentiate, all these smells, and also the merits of the smell, the sense of smell, is that in the sutra, it talks about all these different types of plants, flowers, and animals. They all have some kind of fragrance and smell to them. And so not only do you have to be there, but you also have to be there for an extended period of time. Because the sutra says that you're able going to be differentiate if you close your eyes, if you do not hear, by the sense of smelling, you're able to smell that this is so and so, and that is so and so, and that's a boy, that's a girl, and that's who and who, and this is the elephant, this is a cow, and this is a sheep, a goat, etc. How are you able to tell all these smells if you're only there and smell them only one time? You must be with these sentient beings, and not only that, but for an extended amount of time. If you're only going to fly there as a layover, you know, you're not going to even go down to Burma. Yes, you're going to smell Burma, but you don't really know how it really smells like. And you cannot tell the difference because you didn't go into the masses, okay? So now it's very clear. The function of the nose is to be able to smell. But in order for you to smell, you need to be up close and personal. In order for you to differentiate all the different types of smells, you need to stay there for an amount of time. It's not just like touch and go, and then you know how everybody smells. You don't. So the idea of this is the same thing as what Master is teaching us on the Bodhisattva path. You need to be with the people, in the community, right there. And you cannot just be touch and go. You have to be there for an extended period of time, to be with them, to grow with them, live with them, so they would understand. But there's more. There's always more. And that's what Master is encouraging us. When we hear the sutra, it's not just on the surface, the words. There is more, and we need to contemplate. What's there to contemplate? Master says on the third, that the functions of the eyes and ears are interchangeable. What does that mean? It means for those that are blind, they rely on their touch and they rely very heavily on their ears. So right now, if it's during nighttime, I turn off all the lights. What do? You right away use your ears right away to try to hear if anybody stands up, if anybody's walking, if anybody is going in and out, right? If at the same time, I cover your ears, then you begin to use your eyes to see who is talking. Where are the sounds coming from? And what are they might be saying? You know, you might be looking into the PowerPoint, and then you would know maybe that I'm talking about the functions of the eyes and the ears. So the functions of the eyes and ears are interchangeable, and they are together, they can supplement each other. Yet, the nose can't share these functions. It's not like I turn off the light and I cover your ears. You can smell where the people are, and then if you smell, you know people are leaving. You know, maybe a very acute sense of smell. Animal could do that, maybe a dog could do that, but it's very difficult, okay? So the nose cannot share these functions. Why? And this is very important. The nose lacks the function. What function? To tie and combine the functions of other senses. This is the key. That all that the nose did was it breathe in, smell the fragrance, and breathe out. It lacks the function to tie and combine the functions of other senses. And I think this is very important. It's talking about us. It's talking about how we function. Nose lacks the function. And this is once again coming from the third. Master talks about the nose on the third and the fourth. Nose lacks the function to learn the true Dharma. The nose cannot read, recite, copy. If there is sutra in front of you, you cannot smell it and you go, I know the teaching. You need to look at it, read it, hear the explanation, but you cannot smell it. It doesn't work on us. The nose just can't. And so what does that mean? What does that mean? It means, it makes perfect sense. What does that mean? It makes perfect sense. Remember what we talked about the nose. The function of the nose is that it has to be up close and personal, that you have to be there. You have to be there to do it yourself, to put the work there, right? Even if we are among the masses, without other faculties and self-reflection, we will still not gain the wisdom. You could do all these things and do all the charity to help people. But if you do not self-reflect, if there is no time for you to contemplate, to know what you're doing, and to cultivate yourself, you will not gain the wisdom. The same idea. You could do all these things, but without the teaching, without the Dharma, it's not complete. Same thing. The nose, the function of the nose is bring you there. But by being there, is not everything. Remember, Bodhisattva path is not just about helping others, but it's through helping others that we begin to cultivate ourselves. Same thing. The nose, the function of the nose tells us that we need to be there. But if you are there and you don't tie in other functions, like contemplating, like what Master talks about today, 戒定慧. If you don't have these things, by merely going into the masses and going and doing the charity without 戒定慧, then you are still not going to learn. And that's the key. The function to tie in the other faculties. And that is very important. So that's the sharing that I have for today for notes. And I see that we have a little bit of time, a few minutes left. So I'll go into the bonus content. I wasn't sure if I'm going to have enough time, but the idea of a brief review of what we're going to talk of what we talked about today. The idea of knows the function. It really ties in, really integral to the Bodhisattva path. You need to be there. You need to do it yourself with your own hands. It's not just reading it from the story. It's not just watching it on news. You need to do it yourself. That's the function of the nose, up close and personal. But not just that. If you're up close and personal, if you're already putting the effort in to help people, but you don't try to connect it with the Dharma, and you don't try to learn it and contemplate with the wisdom, then at the end, it was all for nothing. You would just be tired from work, and your muscle and your body would ache, but you will not gain wisdom. And that's the key of why we are here today. It's not just to talk about things, but it's to share about the things that we did. We did something, like later on, they're gonna share about Burma. They went there, they got there, and they want to share with you so that you can gain the insights. You might not be there, but you would have it in your memory. So the next time you're in Burma or you're doing something else, you can connect your wisdom with what's actually there that you learn, that you see, that you hear, and you smell, so that you can connect the two. Okay, so the bonus content. For those, and this is especially true for those of you that do not understand Taiwanese. This is a bonus for you. And I understand that online, we used to have Brother Asif and others from Africa. And one always wonders how they're so close to the heart of Master that they understand. They seem to understand the teachings without hearing the words. You know, it's almost like smelling like, oh, I understand. Without hearing the words, I can understand. So the bonus content is this. Last week, there was a group of recycling and sorting volunteers from China. Okay, about 50 or 60 of them coming to the abode. And they're the wonderful bunch. They're not like the entrepreneur group, okay? They come in and I think most of them, 80%, 90% of them, they didn't have a lot of education. Most of them are probably illiterate. They do not read, they don't know how to read, and they don't know how to write. But they're so happy, engaged in recycling, okay? They're coming from China. So I had a time, you know, I had about 40 minutes, 50 minutes to share with them. And I could see I had to speak Taiwanese to them because that's how they understand, okay? Amazingly, they speak Taiwanese, okay? They speak the local dialect, which is very similar to Taiwanese. And so I speak to them. And I could see from time to time that they do not understand. Sometimes I use the certain words that they do not understand, okay? So the amazing part is this, is that sometimes they don't understand me, and probably all the time I do not understand them. They speak very fast, and they have this accent that I just do not understand, okay? So when they're sharing, they speak so fast, and they're like, you know, 70 and 80 years old, 60, 70, 80 years old. These are recycling volunteers from China, okay? They speak supposedly very similar to Taiwanese. They speak very fast, and all the people around, no one understands what they're talking about, except Master. Amazing, okay? So we always say that Master speaks the Taiwanese, and all the people understand. And when I or others speak Taiwanese, they don't understand, right? Not only that, when these volunteers coming from China, they speak something with heavy accent, okay? And no one around from Taiwan, okay? No one understood. Master understood. And not only that, okay? because no one understood. And Master could see from our facial expression, like, I have no idea what she was talking about. And she was so happy, you know, everybody was smiling, right? Ha, 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 ha. And we're like, I don't know what they're laughing about, right? So the amazing thing happened. Without us asking, Master, in a very friendly way, recite in proper Taiwanese, repeating to the person that was speaking, said, did you mean this, and that? Repeat what she was saying, okay? And obviously everything was right, so the person was nodding. And so this was not, I don't believe Master was asking what she really meant. Master was doing this so that other people around can understand, okay? And when I, you know, at that moment, you know how I feel? I feel this is exactly what we see in the sutras. In the sutras, we always see Buddha repeating, to repeat what was just said. Let me put it into the short verses. And, you know, every time I see that, I'm going like, you know, it's just, isn't it the same thing? You just talk about this in a longer form, and now you're talking about short verses in a shorter form, but it's the same thing. Guess what? I believe it now. It makes sense. Why? Because remember, sutra is a conversation between the master and the disciple. And guess where these disciples come from? All over different parts of India. They talk in different dialogue. You know, some people are living in palace. Some people are the worst of the worst level in their caste system. They don't speak the same language. But Buddha understands all of them. So in order for everyone to understand, sometimes it will be Sariputra, right? Sometimes it will be someone else. They will be talking to the Buddha. But guess what? No one understands what they're talking about. So the Buddha had to repeat it again and say, in order to make it, because it's very important, let me re-say it again. That makes sense. You know, the moment that you understand and you connect your life to the sutra, it makes it so clear. No one ever explained why you had to repeat it. It just says, this is very important. Let me say it again. Well, if you're talking, that makes sense. But it's written down. I can just go back there and say, what did you just say? But it all makes sense now. Last week, Master was repeating, not because of she wanted to make sure. She was repeating because of us. And that makes sense because in the sutra, Buddha repeats himself all the time because for the fear that others don't understand. And that's what I want to share with all of you that don't speak Taiwanese. That do not worry, because Master is already thinking about those of you. And it's always been on her mind of how to make sure that everybody understands. That is why the effort to translate is all the places, everywhere, all the time, because she wants to make sure that everybody gets to hear the message and the Dharma. So this is something that we are very truthful and grateful for. And this form continues even now, 2,500 years later. We still see this in Master, as the Buddha had done, to repeat and to recite. So this is something that I want to share as a bonus content for all of you, so that we understand that this is what happens. So as the time is already up, I will not go through the questions and answer. We will go directly to the sharings for today. So thank you, and we are going to cut through to the other sharing. Thank you.
Good morning. This is sharing on the Myanmar rice seed distribution from 15 to 26 of February. So these are the team members from Sri Damansara. Okay, so today three of us will share. Myself, I'm Lily, Sister Xiao Cheng, and Sister Effie. Okay, so this is the scenery from one of the temple or monastery where all the farmers that are entitled for the rice seed will gather into the hall in the temple. So they will gather here in the temple, and you can see there are so many of them. So in the hall here, so they are seated, and our Tzu Chi volunteers will give briefing on what this rice seed comes from, is coming from Tzu Chi and Master's compassion to give them the rice seed to help them in their planting of paddy fields later on. Okay, so in the hall, also we have this rice seed distribution ceremony. So because this time now we do not have the actual rice seed to give to them, but it's through the coupon. Okay, and in the hall also we sing the praise song. And this time I feel when I sing it and listen to it, I feel I have a deeper feelings, because it's like there's part of the song saying that all the corners of the world. So it's like I'm in Myanmar, and I also been to Tacloban, and now so I have a deeper feelings to this song. So okay. Then we also present hand sign language. 我们一家人的一家人 and also okay, so we practice the hand sign language while we travel in the bus, and also we have sharing, so we receive each moment. Okay, and this is to in preparation for setting up the tables and all the things that we need to have to accept the farmers and scan the barcode. So this time now we have this application, which actually the farmer is given the card and the coupon, about a coupon, okay, who are entitled to have this rice seed. So each of these farmer have a card, and this card is to identify the farmers. So each card have a barcode. So we use the application which will scan the barcode, and then to identify the farmers, and then we will save it by, we have to check the box here and then save it. And then there are various process where this coupon, which part we give to the farmers and which part we keep, and then we will insert the card into this envelope which have message from master and the blessing from master. So we put the cards and also the part, the second part here, which Tzu Chi chop, into this envelope and give away to the farmers. And the farmers will redeem the rice seed from the farmers association. Okay, so when we are doing that, so we were told during the first day of when we reached, we were given briefing that we must do all this thing and make sure that all the cards are actually according to that means farmer A card must not mix up with the other farmer, so that when they redeem it, then it will be a straightforward process. So because the first day is more tense, because first time using the scanner, so we very concentrate, and I feel that don't have much warmth. So then the second day, that's for myself. So second day, okay, so I have to remind myself, okay, not just do, but must smile with them. But language, there's some language barrier, but we learn a few words to communicate with them. Okay, so okay, and then okay, so after the finish the process of processing the cards and so on, and give away the envelope, so the farmers will come to another counter, and we will offer them with grapes and Milo for, it's like a snack for them to travel back to their home. Sometimes it will take few hours. And also we encourage them to, we also give them the rice bank. So we encourage them to give. That means before they cook, so they just take a grab of rice and put into it to help others. Okay, and oh yeah, I forgot about okay. So this morning, Master was saying on the last year's July to August, there's flood in Myanmar. So, and then in the month of October, the flood receded. So Then our Tzu Chi volunteers from Malaysia and Taiwan went over to Myanmar to assess, and then found out that after the flood receded, the paddy field was filled with grass. Nothing was there, because during that time, by right, the farmers will have harvested the rice, but all is gone. So the farmers now do not have any earnings, and then they have to pay the bank loans to the farmers and to the bank, because they loan money to buy the rice seed. So master was very wise that temporarily, for the 3 months of harvest, a temporary few months, maybe we give them the green beans, so that in the short duration they can harvest something. So this is where, when we went there, all the paddy fields is planted with these green beans. Okay, so this is the green beans, and then these are the beans that have been harvested, and the beans actually is inside this this long capsule. So for me, it's the first time I actually know, oh, right, the beans is, that's how we get the green beans. Okay, and then I believe that from here also we know that red beans should be also coming from this as well. Okay, and then we go travel to the village for home visit, and we travel in these open vehicles, and we have to put masks to protect ourselves because they are very dusty. So at the end of traveling, it's like we are all covered with this dust. So even though we are all covered with dust, we still continue whatever we need to do. Okay, we calm down ourselves, and then this I treat it as a spiritual cultivation. Okay, and this is their houses. This is so simple, the kitchen, and this is mother hen and chickens. The very long time I haven't seen this thing. Okay, and this is the house. You see, it's made of the bamboo pieces, and can it's very thin and can see through. And here is the altar. You can see the Buddha image here. So this is in this elderly's this Ama house. So they are very virtuous. See, so simple. And the nice scenery along the way to the destination. It's like back to the nature. And you see the paddy fields, all. And when we go to the monastery, there's no footwear. So we are connected to the ground and get the energy and move forward to do the distribution. So this is the pathway to the village. Okay, that's all for my sharing. We invite Sister Effie.
Good morning, brothers and sisters all over the globe. And it's my first trip to Myanmar, Burma. And actually, I was not in the same group with Sister Tzu Chi and Sister Lily. I was at the second batch, from 20th to 26th. So I would like to share one part, this photo here, where I have to was in a group that have to travel 6 hours in a bus to reach this place. This is a very small place. Initially, our leader told us that this small pagoda can only accommodate 50 people. So we were not. We assumed that not many people would turn up because today is the examination day for their children. So the farmers will not be able to come. We were being told that way. So, but very amazing. Initially, there was a few people, but then towards about an hour later, this small place was filled up with people until cannot move. There's no space that all the farmers, the local residents, they are willing to sit outside on the grass, on the soil, as you can see. So they are sitting outside of the mosque, the pagoda, and listening to what was all the programs that was happening inside. So I was because it's too tight the space, I cannot move in. So in Tzu Chi is that I learned something that you need to play your part, however small. So I interacted with all these villagers here, the farmers that are sitting outside, to let them be involved what is happening inside. So I was communicating with them with sign language and handing out the Jing aphorism, as you can see in the photo here in yellow, by Master. Master wanted us to send this, to give this Jing aphorism to every farmer that comes to receive their coupons, is to pass the message of Master love to them. That was I was trying to tell them with sign language, interacting with them outside. And then you can see here, this sister in the vest, she was at this same place where we traveled 6 hours, to reach this place. She was actually a tour guide, and she saw us, Tzu Chi, need a translator, so she signed up for 2 days. But after the 2 days, she was so inspired that she stayed on and followed our group to the 26th. She was so inspired what Tzu Chi was doing for their locals, for their people. She told us. So she also joined us into handing all this during the scanning, the coupons. So I was also very inspired by her, the locals here. On the other hand, in wherever we go, we have to be barefooted, and we have to walk from our bus outside into the monastery, and the sun is blazing, it's hot, it's burning our feet, So I'm just showing this how hot it is, because in Myanmar I noticed that there's no cloud at all, but you look at it at the picture, you think that it's very clear, very clean, but they are all covered. It's very polluted, very polluted. So this is one area that I noticed. That's why Master always tells us that, which I don't understand all before this trip. Master always tells us that go in and help people, which I do not understand at all initially. But after this trip, whenever each day when we travel out, Master words kept in my mind that you have to go out, reach out, mountainous area, very remote area, 6 hours of travel, to one place. So we're wondering. So only then I understand what Master meant. People cannot come out. You go in and help them. So this is the wonders of Master's teaching, and the other one is that we have to prepare our tinsel rice. All the while, I'm not really appreciative of tinsel rice because I thought that it's too simple. So when we first day, second day, I was a bit of not feeling good with the tinsel rice because it's cold. We have no time to eat. But on the third day onwards, I began to admire. I began to appreciate the rice. I said, how come this rice, tastes so good today, and is in very good form. Not like the first 2 days that I was not feeling good. So only the third day onwards, I was telling myself, and was taking the rice, at 2 p.m. So I was telling myself, oh, Master is so great. Master's intention of creating this rice, even though we need to cook it, we need to pour in the mineral water 3 a.m. in the morning, and we only have our lunch 2 p.m. the next day, you see. So over in Malaysia here, I've never ever, appreciate all these things. During this trip, I began to feel, to know, because when we go barefooted from every place, I realized that my feet was burning and in pain. So on returning back to Tingsel Hall on 27th, I was so thankful and grateful how soft, how good is the Tingsel Hall is, the ground. I still can see the softness that's supporting my feet. So appreciative. I was wondering, this is one appreciation and realization that I learned from this trip. And the other one, as you can see this picture, I visited in a very short time. Upon finishing our fafang, the distribution, we rushed to visit a home, and this home belongs to, you look at it, there's no window, nothing, it's wallless, no door, everything, and nothing at all. There's no food, nothing. You can see through. So happened that I was visiting this elderly lady who was 76 years old, and she has 7 children. She shared with me she has 7 children, and 6 of them had died in this place that you're looking at. Due to what? due to sickness, due to illnesses, due to every year there's a flood from April to August, something like that, every year. But last year, there was a flood that happened for 4 months without receiving the water. And she was just around here, staying this area. So she shared, looking into her eyes, she was wondering why there are few of us not visited her. So we told her we are from Taiwan, Malaysia, and we are from Tzu Chi, you see. So we tell them that we are part of your family. Then we can see the glow in her eyes again, because she was chopping the wood, you know. Then we told her we come here all the way to visit you and trying to understand lifestyle. Actually, she was not one of the recipients of this rice distribution, because she don't have land. So in Myanmar, we understand that if you don't have land, you are not entitled to the rice distribution coupon, you see. So she said, however, she was very happy to see us. This is a statement that touched me. She's happy to see us, but she knows that we're going to leave in another few minutes. Her tear drops. And that makes me realize that, you know, quickly go and hold on to her, touch her, because I hardly touch foreign people, see. So I touch her, and I can feel, because after a series of all those involvement in the sign language in every monastery, every rice distribution place, we have to sing the song. We are singing the song, there's no one that I don't love. There's no one that I do not trust. There's no one that I do not forgive. So how during these few days, these three universal love, you know, and forgiveness and trust in others ingrained, imprinted in my mind. So it comes naturally when I heard her story. So I hug her and tell her, Mama, I'm your family. I told her like this, and she was, you know, happy. And then she shared with me, she shared with us, you know, that she has nothing to eat at times in a month, few days in a month. You know, how sad. So all of us, when we heard this, myself and the two Taiwan brother, sister, we quickly dig into our bag, whatever we have. Actually, we have nothing, only the ginseng rice that we have just taken before we came here. So we found that we have 2 pieces of biscuit from Taiwan that coming from Shifu. So we give all to her. All of us was, you know, pass it to her, and we make her day. So upon learning her this incident of losing 6 children, she's 76 years old, and her children is the last one was 40 something or 50 years old. So we asked her how she feel now. She said that she believed in law of karma, and she brought me up to her this place. This year, coming up the place there is a Buddha image. She said, I believe in Buddha. So in Myanmar, only then I understand that through the journey that actually Buddhism flourished, originated also in Myanmar long time ago. It's just that my understanding is that during this trip is that Myanmar Buddhism is very different, a bit different, not say a bit different, is because they are very sincere and in their offerings, but they have something, they seek for something, merits. So it's entirely different from what Master Cheng taught us. We have to benefit others, to love others. That's why we are trying in every distribution places that we visited, we will always pass a message. So I make it a point that I will interact with the local using sign language. Using sign language, that this is Master Cheng from Taiwan send all of us here to give her love to each and every one of you. Rest assured that you are part of our family. And I told this elderly mama here, I told her, remember, this is Tzu Chi. We will report your case to the local Tzu Chi and come and help you. Report your case, because she actually what inspired me, this mama was saying that she only earned a few dollars at times when she was not having any pain, and with the few dollars, she was one of the family in this village here. There are 5 families that are very poor of the poor, the poorer, the poorest, and she's one of them. Yet the few dollars that she earned, she make it a point that she donate it to another family. So she's doing merits. She's doing she's doing a lot of charity. That's why on her face, all of us that were present there agreed that she has a very peaceful face. And she was very thankful that we come here. At least she knows that we are from Malaysia and Taiwan. So I will pass over the sharing to Sister Shu Ting. Thank you.
感恩 Sister Lily and Sister Effie for such wonderful sharing. I'm Tzu Chi from Sri Damansara. Yes, both of the wonderful sisters, they are very inspired and are my role models, as well as the many, many brothers and sisters. In fact, my first international mission, it's more like a Dharma assembly where I have learned so much from all these great bodhisattvas, not only from the locals, Myanmar volunteers, but also from the Taiwanese brothers and sisters. Understand that, unlike the Malaysian counterpart, for Taiwanese, those who could join us, they are those very experienced and they are selected by selected people. So, and the locals, because I think Sister Lily has explained the distribution process. I also joined Sister Lily and Sister Alfie in distribution. Sorry, I've forgotten that PPT. Okay, here, in fact, all the Wondrous Lotus Sutra principles we could see in applications, particularly to me, these 4 all-embracing virtues, the selfless giving, saying kind words, act of kindness, and working harmoniously with each other. Brother Utun Tin is in our group. Actually, in fact, when we understand them deeper, they have a lot of stories, very, very inspiring story. Like these brothers, they are the local volunteers. Most of them, they are farmers. Because of their farming activities, it has taken a toll on their body. Certain activities, they can't really stretch that much compared to us because of the body function. So despite that, they still shoulder on. A teacher, I think Su Lao Si, in his 70s, he has to wear his body strap, body support. There's something to support his body. He was not in a good condition, but despite that, in his 70s, most of the time he will start from early in the morning until sometimes for us it's like 2 distribution a day, once in the morning, one in the afternoon, second half, and at times we also ended up returning to the hotel after people's dinner, like Sister Lily team. But throughout the days, everyone is filled with Dharma joy, just like Master has listened all the listening we have heard. This Dharma incense permission, if we join activities, it's really like the whole day smell, fragrant smell in our body. Instead of like returning back to the realistic world, in the morning we will be so full of Dharma joy. But once we are back to corporate working life or in the family activities, this thing will like a bit lost out. So we lost the smell. Then maybe we will connect back to the not so fragrant smell outside. But for these 7 days, the smell permit us throughout the session. And yes, okay, this gratitude, respect, love. But of course, Master explained today. Now we have extended to respect, love for all sentient beings. This distribution process, now that we have the technology to help us using the machine, but because of Tzu Chi, every activity we have to, there is a special Buddhist principle in it. This lady, I remember, that day was the last one under the group to pass over the envelope to the farmers, to the farmers. This lady, I remember once I bowed and I said Jesu Tembare, something like thank you to her. Both our eyes, we were glistening. You see, beyond language, I couldn't speak further language than that, very limited. But because of Master's teaching and all the sincerity, the lady, she felt this sincerity from all the volunteers and throughout the program. So in fact, that's why Dharma, all these feelings, it transcends language and countries. Rules of emptiness, the second one, we are very fortunate here, like the 4 all-embracing virtues, we work harmoniously among each other, even though we are under distribution team, but we have opportunity to join the program team. So we like helping out each other. Whichever area they are in needs, we will go in and help. In fact, when we give things to them, who are really the recipient, coming here, initially, the thought was thinking if there could be any way that I could help others, but to realize that in fact I'm the recipient. But who's really the recipient, or who's really the giver? Or what's the gift? The rules of emptiness suddenly emerge in my mind. The story of Sense in Ganges River, when Master shared this and Brother Joe further explained, it reminded me of this story. I noticed that the kids there, actually the people in Myanmar, they are really simple and adorable. They are very kind-hearted. I understand from a local volunteer sister, Su Hua, she told me that because most of them, they are Buddhist practitioners, they believe in law of karma. They believe in donation. So to them, doing donation in whatever form will bring merit. So activity of donation, they are really happy in their mind. During the program, then we asked them to if they could donate money, put the money in the bamboo coin box. Most of them, if it's not 10 out of 10, it's like 9 out of 10. They will put the money in, even if it's very little money. They will put, even those who don't have any money in their pocket, they will touch the bamboo coin box. I remember the first time that I participated in this, I was so shocked. Despite knowing that the people there, they are really simple-minded and very kind, but then this kind of act, because we don't really see in other scenes, especially, I don't know, in maybe more developed country, it's not like everyone, they will, so those who don't have money, they will also touch the bamboo coin box as though they also hope to donate this time, or they wish to draw energy from here. The kind of mindset that they have at that point of time, I also couldn't stop myself. I think I was crying, hearing that. Hopefully my tears didn't drop to their hands. But really touching. Coming here is totally, it changed my mindset, especially when we go and visit the people and walk around. The weather very hot. During the 7 days, I remember that it was really dusty and not a drop of rain. And then along the way, we saw those houses far from each other. And then once I remember, there was this little, very small, I can't really call it a house because it looks like I think without walls and very simple hut. And there are like gathering of family in this house. I think there are these parents and their kids all inside. It was so hot, burning. Even in the van, in the small pickup truck we were traveling, we could feel the intense heat. Imagine they have to be under that small little hut for so long. So it was, so coming back to Malaysia, I think the lesson I learned is like, upon coming here, I shared with my daughter, then weather in Malaysia after that also very hot, started to get quite hot and dry spell. So we told, then she agreed that after that I stopped using aircon at home. In the office we can't help it because corporate, right? But at home at night, last time I used to be like, we were on the aircon maybe for a short time, half an hour, but now I stopped using aircon at home, thinking of the family in this Myanmar. Okay, sorry, time is really limited. Okay, about these young these farmers, they are really grateful. We are very thankful to the Myanmar local volunteers, especially, I'm sure, as well as the earlier batch. They must have done really well, because the farmers, we could see all their gratefulness in their heart. They will follow us everywhere. Even if our car broke down or anything, we don't really have to worry, because they will come and rescue us. I remember during the house visit, the first two pictures, the local farmers, they were hailing us. Then they buy us, we stop there, then they ask us, come down, we treat you, because there was a time we have to stop to wait for another vehicle to pick us up. They say, come, we treat you for a drink. We say, no, it's okay, no need. But they insisted, then they went to buy drinks for us. So the local volunteers, they could speak their own language and explain to them our purpose, and hope that they could join us as volunteer. And then they agreed. Actually, these people, they are really simple-minded, just that they are very scattered. So I also think for the local volunteers, recruitment of Bodhisattva may not be that difficult, but the thing is how to reach them, because they are all over the places, so remote. So we pray that, we really pray all these seeds that are planted throughout all these years, that it will sprout, but really need the efforts of all these great people to help. We also have chance to visit the schools. The one in this photo, they are very proper. I went to some classes without just the bare roof. It was really hot, and I very kind and have the chance to see their syllabus. And we even took photo at the green beans field, because the Thai team were with us. Very grateful. Actually, the heart is really full of a lot of gratefulness at heart, because of all those local volunteers. Even though we know that they are so tired, because unlike me, I only joined for 7 days. They have been doing it for so long. It must be very tiring. But even if the car broke down, during that short moment, she will continue to share with us the local people's stories. You can see the passion, great passion in their heart. Okay, sorry, the last one on this sense of Dharma. I remember when Master started the Xun Fa Xiang on day 16 of Chinese New Year. That point of time, we know that the priority should be for distribution, because if you want to join Xun Fa Xiang, we have to wake up at 3 or earlier, before 3, because we have to get everything ready, get our rice ready. All because after Xun Fa Xiang, we really have to go. It was the spur of moment was thinking whether I just listen in the room, we listen in the room, or we share with others. Very grateful, Brother Chiu and the head, the contingent, he announced it to the group, and I also, that time I was also very grateful that Sister Lily and I were in different hotels, so Sister Lily could set up the AV in her place and I in our place. We couldn't, we never expect, but 30 over turned up for the session, and after that, the batch 2, they continue to attend Xun Fa Xiang. We know how important the Dharma in sense is for us. Master always said we have to listen continuously. In fact, even though we have, I think maybe less than 3 hours sleep during those Xun Fa Xiang days, because by normally after night time we don't really like knock out after dinner. We still have to help on counting the paper. A lot of admin work in between, but it was, despite the lack of sleep, but the Master teaching, it was really very the joy is tough to describe, but we are very happy and hope that those who are on board, who could join us Xun Fa Xiang, please, if you can't do it weekdays, weekend at least, a lot of wonderful medicine there to cure any of our ailment. Okay, Ka-en, over to you, Brother Joe. Ka-en.
Morning, everyone. Thank you for just now the beginning for Brother Joe, who gave us a briefing review for a couple of days that Master been give us a teaching, and now we listen to 3 sisters, the Dharma sisters, who went to Myanmar for the distribution of the rice seed. And I think just like a couple of days before, Master did mention that we are using our great compassionate eyes to see the suffering for those who need, and we are having a great wisdom to listen. We because we listen to Dharma, and we are, through Master give us the spouting the Dharma and saying that we gradually we will gain some wisdom and to listen who those need. Needed. And I think the more important is like Brother Joe say, for those who are personally go to the distribution site and personally, and you are directly to give the rice seed to those farmers who are needing help, and you will the environment on that day, and everyone you all can feel it. And by it's just like it's like the virtue of the nose that you can gain the merit. I think the more important thing I think is like for one person to go is not enough. Luckily, we are a big family, so like for those who attend to the distribution rice seed and those volunteers, I think because we are having a limited the merit of our nose, eyes, and sight and hearing, but because we gather everyone who we strengthen the power of our sixth sense or the organs, and we work together, and we to pour all the strengthen of the power of love and to spread. I think this is we can't imagine. Only for those who are been experienced it. And last but not least, I think is just like the nose that we can't smell we only can smell the fragrance for like tree flowers or whatever. But Master say, how do we feel smell the Dharma? I think it gives me the memory that I heard the story before, which is it happened in our Hualien hospital. Our Cheng, her orthopedics doctor, or Cheng, the vice president， 怎么讲？前任院长嘛，早期的。The honor of the superintendent, Cheng Ying-he 院长。When he treat a patient, a woman who suffer from the legs, I heard Master Ji say, because he is a doctor and he can see the suffering of the patient who are injured, have a very seriously warm 那个脚都烂了. And he not just use his eyes to see the warmth, and and he not just to listen to the pain, of the patient, but he bowed down and to smell the 那个伤口，去闻那个伤口 ，yeah, the wound. And I think this is like you know, because he have a compassion and you know have a wisdom, and he used the compassion to you know to smell the how serious the 伤口，那个去闻那个伤口，然后看它的严重性。I think this is what Master teaches to be, you know, living Bodhisattva is like to take action, and this is what I want to say. So I hope that you can understand. This is just a memory that I can remember. Okay, now I think time is up, and I hand over to Sister Xiaojing. Yeah, thank you for today.
Cảm ơn Master. Cảm ơn, okay. Cảm ơn Brother, Master the Huang, the Shifu, Brother Joe, Sister Lily, Sister Epi, for such heartfelt sharing. But before that, we wish to share that next Saturday we will have sharing from Brother Pauru and Brother Joe. So please help to promote this so we could benefit more people and more people could join us. Brother Paru will share on the 4th song he sang to Master during Chinese New Year. The hidden meaning apparently is very kantong. Okay,感恩 for everyone for this heartfelt and wisdom sharing. Thank you, brothers and sisters, for your presence. Hope that each of us could sustain the Dharma joy and take in another piece of Dharma Master and Hualien love to our life. Let us please make 3 bows to the Buddha and Dharma Master as we depart to apply these teachings in our daily life. Let us pay our respects to our teachers of life universal truth. First bow. Second bow. Third bow. And a bow to our beloved Shifu who are joining us today. Cảm ơn everyone, cảm ơn Shifu. See everyone next Saturday. Cảm ơn.